Hey guys, I just wanted to make a short video, hopefully this will be short, about something that's kind of important to me. As you know, probably, if you follow this channel at all, I made a video about the Coven update for Town of Salem, and in it I was, pretty, I think, necessarily rude and shit-talky about Town of Salem and its developers. I think it's necessary, I think it's true, but, a lot of people don't agree. A lot of people showed up to defend Town of Salem. People popped in. Some people that have been around before, but, other people who, the majority of people who had never been anywhere I've seen before, suddenly popped in and they were like, long-time fan, you're wrong about this. And I'm like, you realize that, I've never seen your name before at all. But yeah, you're a long-time fan. But anyway, I wanted to just do a quick thing here. I've been disagreeing with people in the comments on the video. And, in some cases arguing with people in the comments on the video. And, people, it's interesting that people will give you shit for arguing with them, for disagreeing with them, because they see you as, quote-unquote, the YouTuber, and people are they've just totally bought into this thing that the YouTuber is their friend, the YouTuber is someone who's going to bend over backwards to make sure that they're happy and they're okay, and that, anything you say to the YouTuber just, laughs it off and says, oh, you're so funny and special, and, don't ever change. But, a lot of people are very venomous and vile and toxic, and I'll be venomous, vile, and toxic right back to them, because I'm not one of those chuckle fuck fake people. I treat you like an equal, and treating you like an equal, surprise, does not mean agreeing with everything you say and being like, oh yeah, you're right, little baby, don't worry, you're right. That's not treating you like an equal, that's, talking down to you. So when I argue with you, it's because that's how I treat people. I treat people like actual human beings who can be argued with. The problem with this is that people, as I say, don't expect it. People don't expect YouTubers to talk back to them at all, so they just feel like they can say whatever they want, and it just goes through, and they're like, I told him. But, I reply back and I'm like, that's not true, or whatever, and they're like, oh my god, the YouTuber was, he has a different opinion. Why? That's just wrong. But yeah, so, one thing that's interesting about these comment sections and, things like that, this always comes up whenever I make a video informing people about what's going on. When I'm trying to tell people what's going on and give my opinion on it, people always are like, how dare you have an opinion? You're a YouTuber, you're supposed to just scream at jump scares and eat hot peppers every time you hit a milestone. What are you doing? So yeah, I wanted to show you guys something, because one of the things I get flack for from the fake people who come in, just to defend Town of Salem, one of the things I get flack for is they say, you're always so mean! You're always so rude to people! And I'm like, well, I'm rude to people who are rude to me. I'm a human being. If somebody says fuck you, I say no, fuck you back. That's no reason to no reason to lose your shit, and go crazy. Don't worry about it. People do that all the time. So yeah, I get flack for being nasty to people. And I just want to read you an example of what we're talking about here. We've got a comment here from Shiki Ren. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Look at this. Look at this Vegeta-looking motherfucker in this avatar here. But yeah, to play devil's advocate for a second here, some of these things don't look like they could have whipped them up within the time frame TOL has been around. It might just be that they thought they still wanted a coven and just couldn't be asked to kill the Mafia for it. Also, I've seen no word that the coven leader or any of the witches can convert people. And for the Salem witch trials, a coven just makes sense. By the by, cult and coven are not the same. A cult usually worships demons or heathen gods or the like. A coven is just the name of a circle of witches. I'm biased because they are making a necromancer skin roll though. Or a necromancer roll though. Heh. I'm too invested in making skins for Camp Cadaver, so I'm like calling everything skins, I'm calling everything by the wrong names, things like that. But yeah, looking at this comment, this is a perfectly fine comment. This is just a comment disagreeing with somebody. And that's, like, yeah, great, let's have a discussion, let's have a disagreement, let's have an argument, whatever. Just to play devil's advocate, very nice, Some things, you know, he's saying that they couldn't have whipped it up in the time TOL has been around. Throne of Lies has been over a year in development, and they posted their roles about a year ago. So, you know, it is within enough time to make rolls. I mean, on Camp Cadaver, I'm going to not drop that name too much, but, you know, it's for a reason. On Camp Cadaver, you know, we had like 3 or 4 rolls in one night that Mammon made. So, I mean, you know, you can do this within the time frame of 1 year that Throne of Lies has been up with its rolls out. And then he goes on to say Cult and Coven are not the same, and I'll get to that in my reply. So here's my response, and tell me how rude this response is. It doesn't matter what the words mean. So in other words, I'm saying, you know, he says Cult and Coven are not the same. So I'm like, that's not the point. Doesn't matter what the words mean. Also, Town of Salem, $5. Throne of Lies, $10. Town of Salem with expansion, $10. They're clearly trying to make people decide which one they'll buy. And the thing is, the Town of Salem expansion is supposed to come out at the same time as Throne of Lies will be available on Steam for the same price. So, you know, that's the point I'm making here. So, you may argue it's kind of rude to say it doesn't matter what the words mean, but I would say that's just being blunt, but you can, you know, take that for what you will, and I understand that. I'm just saying, you know, Cult and Coven, you know, the words aren't really part of the problem. You know, the words, what they mean. But yeah, and then I just put in the breakdown of the price. And then I give my opinion at the end. So what we have here is a possibly blunt statement at the beginning, a very dry breakdown of the prices, and then my opinion. They're clearly trying to make people decide which one they'll buy. And then a little sad face. So I would say that his first response disagrees with what I said, but is, you know, nice in terms of manners. My response is disagreeing with what he says, but is nice in terms of manners. So now we'll get to what Shiki Ren replied to that with.
Because they cost the same? The fuck? Have you actually looked at video game prices? There is some level of unity out there for the most part. Full price AAA games usually cost $59.99, smaller releases $39.99, and DLC $5 to $15. I don't say the TOS creators aren't sleazebags, but this example is bullshit. I could argue the same that you and your friends and the makers of TOL made your games to hurt TOS, which in your case would actually be plausible the way you hate the devs of TOS. Well, more plausible than using a game's price as the argument here.
Oh, and by the way, I'd imagine the Plaguebearer/Pestilence description just means that either he has to kill everyone else, or that he has to infect X people and then gets a buffed ability or wins. Yeah, I try to answer people in a calm and rational way, and that's how people respond. And then when I respond back to them, and I say, try to follow this. Town of Salem has always been $5. TOS with expansion is $10, double the price for less than double the content. Why is the expansion more expensive than the full game? Because Throne of Lies is $10. They both come out in June, which is not a coincidence. TOS has had years to make this or a similar update. Magically, it falls on the same time TOL is released. The result is a which one will you buy, and Town of Salem gets the benefit of having existing users. Again, still, you know, some of my words are all caps, because I'm like, yo, dude, listen. Are you listening to what I'm saying here? I'm like Navi from fucking Legend of Link, or whatever the fuck the game is. Legend of Goku, is it? And yeah, as you can see here,
bullshit.
Blah, 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 blah. Fucking this, fucking that, bullshit this, bullshit that, fuck you, blah, blah. So, Shiki Ren completely losing his shit, you know, just immediately, you know, the second somebody replies to him disagreeing with him, and I'm, you know, keeping it classy. Eventually, I don't know, eventually in this thread I probably say, you know, fuck you. Oh yeah, I said don't drown in the Kool-Aid. That's my rude response. After he's rude to me, I'm rude to him, and people still play this fake game. Because you're going to hear this and you're going to see this in comments, and you're going to probably see this in comments on this video too, because people won't learn. You know, they play this fake game where they say, I don't agree with you, and I say, you know, well, I don't agree with you. And they go, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And then I say, well, fuck you too. And everybody goes, oh! the fake-ass YouTuber who should want our likes, comments, and subscribes is not slobbing our knob. Oh my god. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. And I wanted to make this video because you see a lot of people like on Twitter, on YouTube, will do this kind of thing. And it's not necessarily just me. Anybody they disagree with, they'll do this thing where they start the problem. They start the disrespect, the immaturity. They start it. And then when you respond, they go, but you're the YouTuber. You know, you're the person on Twitter who's well-known, whatever, you know, format it may be. You're the one who's supposed to be treating me like I'm a customer in your shop. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. At least not here. I mean, you could probably, if you go to the larger channels, you know, they'll treat you like that. What the larger channels will do, and what a lot of smaller channels who want to be large, what they'll do is they'll agree with you and they'll kiss your ass, like in public, or they just won't respond to you, and behind the scenes they'll think you're a dipshit. So, I mean, tell me which one's more honest. And of course, I don't ask that everybody agree with me on everything. I don't ask that everybody even believe me on things. I love when people say, I didn't believe what you said, so I went and looked it up. That's what I love to see, because I love to see people taking the initiative. Don't believe me, don't believe any YouTuber, don't believe anybody on anything that you don't look up yourself or don't, you know, reasonably know for yourself. Because, you know, I don't know, there's like this big cult of personality with YouTube, and, you know, I like to sort of fight that where I can, and I like to fight the cult of personality around Town of Salem, and, you know, I like the idea of people not even listening to me, not even believing me, but just going and looking for themselves. That's all I ask.